For those who missed one-on-one we had with Eric Bequin and Coach Samadi, we recap that. We also speak to Fifi Anaman on the dramas of the preseason and also sit down with Sheyi Adebayor. My name, as always, is Asante Samuels, and this is still the beautiful game. So Fifi, what do you make of all these dissolving of management going on with the clubs these days?
Well, I think, when you have fans of a club being dissatisfied with certain policies, being dissatisfied with how you are running things, not liking how things are being done, they feel they want transparency, they are not getting it. These are some of the things that will crop up. And I'm talking in relation to Kumasi Asante Kotoko. Even though they won the league title, they got to the FA Cup final, there were problems with the quality of the squad because there were some games they were supposed to kill off and they couldn't. But then I get the sense that the real problem has to do with the management. The fans never felt confident in the management because of certain things that were going on that they felt were wrong. For example, the sale of players and how management didn't really come out to give us or give the fans correct figures. They didn't give the fans clarity on what was happening.
But then it's not just Asante Kotoko who has transfer issues. Most of the clubs do these transfers and financially they can't account for it.
I mean, we are in a system where money is hard to come by. And when money is there, fans want the money to be used well. Fans want to know what the money is being used for. And if you don't come through honestly about some of these things, then you're going to have problems with your fans, because Kotoko fans wanted to know how much Nieje was being sold for, not because they just wanted to know, but because Nieje was basically Kotoko. Nieje was the linchpin of that Kotoko side that won the league title under Maxwell Kunedu last season. Nieje was a treasured asset of Kumasi Asante Kotoko, and then all of a sudden they lose him. Fans want to know why they lost him and how much he was sold for, because this is a high-profile player. And with regards to other transfers, these were also top players in the side. Bene Champong, Awal Mohammed, Yao Frimpong. These were the linchpins of the side that won the title for Kumasi Asante Kotoko. All of a sudden, they are gone. You have to compensate the fans with new players. And the players that came in didn't do the kind of job that the fans felt these other players did. And then there's a problem of you not becoming honest with your fans with regards to the transfer fees and stuff. Fans clamored from the beginning of the season. They wanted to know how much these people were sold for. They wanted to know how much all these sponsors, the management claimed that they had roped in, the 13 sponsors, how much each one of them was bringing on board. And the management never came out to say until the last moment when everything started going wrong and the chairman had to resign, even though he had secured his second league title in 3 seasons. So it was always a sense of dissatisfaction. People weren't really happy with things that were going on. There was always a sense of, we are playing well, but something is wrong. We have to find out what is really wrong with our club.
So with Midiema and Chelsea, they did not suffer these same kind of issues as Asante Kotoko. So what was their problem? What was their main problem?
I mean, with the case of Midiema, they started the season with a definite plan. We have an experienced coach in Bashir Hayford. We have quite a solid squad. They had players like Samson Kujo, they had players like Hans Kofi, Theophilus Anoba, they had solid defenders like Joseph Gordon, Henry Enter, good goalkeeper in the form of Joseph Malm, and they wanted to make an impact in the league, if not to win the title. And then they found out that the consistency level in the league was such that it was poor, and it was the sort of situation you could capitalize on and seize the title, like Adriana had done in 2010 and Brecon Chelsea had followed up in 2011. So there was a sense of these clubs are relatively newer in the system, and they did it before because they were prepared. They took advantage when other clubs slipped, and we are in the same position. We've been on top for over 10 weeks. Let's go for the title. And then things start caving in, and you start asking questions. What's really going on? What is the coach doing wrong? What is the management doing wrong? Aren't we motivating them enough? What is really going on? And I feel at the end of the season, they lost the title. and questions started popping up they really wanted answers to, and then they just felt okay, the management didn't really get certain things right in maintaining that sort of consistency that they needed to seize the title. So
okay, so let's look at Mahatma Oti and the transfer saga. Most people think he's unambitious, going to play for a Norwegian club. Do you have the same perception?
Before I talk about what I think, I feel it's normal for people to think that way. It's normal for people to feel that he's been unambitious, he's been unserious, because this is a player who has been one of the best players in Ghana over the past 3 to 4 years. Our best player currently, our top scorer currently, signing for a mid-table Norwegian club. So it all sounds wrong. There's nothing about it that sounds encouraging. It's worrying, to be honest. But knowing something that went into what happened, it sort of gives you the perspective to understand the decision that he made in signing for that club. Mahatma wanted to play for Club Brugge. TP Mazembe came in, Sundowns came in, offered Hearts good money, offered Mahatma himself good money in terms of personal terms, monthly remuneration, stuff like that. But Mahatma thought, I want to go to Europe. I feel it's time. I want to earn the sort of income that will afford me the opportunity to take care of people who depend on me. I want to be in an environment filled with state-of-the-art facilities to help me develop to become the big player that I want to be. I want to play in Europe, basically. So it was always about going to Europe, and it was always going to be about whether he was going to be able to sign for Club Brugge, because they had expressed interest. And then he got there, he was supposed to have his medical, and then the report came out that they had demanded for trials, and that must have just hit his ego, hit his confidence. And going to Belgium in the first place, he had difficulty securing a visa, and I understand from what a source told me that the kind of visa that he got was not long term. It was a sort that he would go, something bad would happen, and he would have to snap in plan B as quickly as he can, because he can't come back to Ghana and say, I went to Europe and wasted my time. You have to have a perfect plan in place. So it was always going to be about, if Club Brugge doesn't work, which club would work? Songda had expressed interest at first. When the Club Brugge thing didn't work out, he flew in with his managers, and they managed to convince him. They offered good terms, and he felt, okay, this might not be what everyone expected of me. This might not be what I had dreamed of, but I have to see the positive out of this. I have to make sure I'm bold enough to take this move. It might help me in the future, because if I do well here, a big club might scout me. I might be able to fulfill my dream. So it's sort of understandable if you look at it from that perspective. But if you just tune on your radio, or you just put on your TV and you heard the best player in Ghana, the top scorer in Ghana has signed for a mid-table Norwegian club, it's just disappointing. It just crushes you like that. Yeah.
So that was Fifi Anaman with analysis on the current preseason issues. Last 2 weeks, we had a chat with Eric Bequin and Coach Samade. So for those who missed it, this is a recap.
It comes to mind immediately, Kotoko. We started with Jordan, who became the captain of Asante Kotoko, Asante Kotoko. And then Harrison Afu, who is now with Esperance. And then one of our first intakes captain in the Premiership of Holland, Nana Kwesi Hassan, Utrecht to be precise. We have players like Mohamed, who is playing in Sweden. We have players like Emmanuel is also in Sweden. We have players like Yekini and others playing for the first division in Belgium. And then Kufu, Yafrimpon and others also. They are in abundance. If I want to talk about players distribution, then we won't finish today. So these are some of the players we will be able to produce.
He gave his thoughts on football academies in Ghana.
During our days, it was just like everybody playing his own game, but now, if you don't use a little bit of science, then you'll be behind. You understand me? Yes, because soccer is both art and science. For a player to pick a ball and put it through 8 feet by 24 feet, that's the goalpost. It's both art and science, because you start from behind, you build up through the middle, and then we've got the completers. We call them strikers and other things. A striker completes what others have well begun, from the goalkeeper through the defense and other things. So you teach the player, anytime he's around the shooting angle, whether it's a striker or not, he has to bury the ball. All players around the 18th, and then when the shooting angle is open, they should be clinical. And that's what we are doing. It's pure science.
Would you ever play for Kotoko? Will you ever play for them again?
Yeah, that's why I was saying I'm a player. And that is why you don't have to criticize a lot or talk a lot about things that happen. Because as a footballer, you don't know where your career will land. So you have to be very mindful of what you talk about. And you know, nowadays, you can say something and you've been tongue twisted by the media. Sorry to use the media, because the media's message travels so fast. Let's say you've said one and they say two on the net, and you don't get the platform or the privilege to, explain yourself that this wasn't what happened. It's not easy. So you have to be mindful of your words, especially when, as a player, you're talking about a club, criticizing a club. I won't play for this club, I won't do. You don't know what tomorrow brings. So you always have to be careful of what you say at the end of the day.
So, talking of the Black Stars, when are you returning to the Black Stars?
For now, Black Star is not a permanent place for every Ghanaian player. It's just like a bypass something for everyone. When your time comes and you've been given the opportunity, you make sure you give it all out. You print your name boldly in capital letters, and you leave it there for the future sake. So for me, I can't tell you I'm coming back to the Black Star today or tomorrow. When the time comes, for now, thank God I'm fit, I'm back. And if I'm being given the opportunity to join the Black Star, the only thing I have to do is to give my best, because it's one of the biggest platforms in the world. To wear your national jersey, it brings, contracts, it brings deals, it brings respect to you, not only to you, but people around you, your friends, your family. You make them proud and all that. So I'm waiting for my time. I'm so young to, give it up that I'm old and I can't get the chance to play for the national team. I'm doing my best. When the time comes and I'm being given the opportunity to wear the national colors again, I'll just give it all out, print my name boldly in capital letters and leave it there.
Sad news reaching us this week says Kanewu, one of the greatest admirers, one of the greatest fans of Phobia, is dead. I had an interview with him somewhere last year, and I would like to play that in memory of him, because he's one of those who really stood for the Ghana Premier League upon all the slack the league was receiving. Take a look at this. May his soul rest in peace. Remember to keep the conversation going on social media. After the break, we talk to Emmanuel Adebayor.
When did I begin football? We are all Africans, right? So I think you may know better than I do. As an African man, you always start when you're very young, at a young age, and I start playing in the house. From the house, I take it to the outside in the compound. From the compound, I take it to the beach. From the beach, I take it to inter schools, and from there, I just realized that I have a chance to be a good footballer. And as an African man, you always knew that you can be a good footballer through friends, because everyone's saying that you are a good footballer in my area. So I just keep doing it, and I cannot say I started playing when I was 15, when I was 16, when I was 17. I started playing when I started working. A lot. When you start playing football, you just want to play football. When I was young, I can even remember 13, 14 years ago, I don't even know what's the meaning of being African Player of the Year. And for me, when I started playing football, when I started in Metz, when I went to Monaco, when I went to Arsenal, then my ambition became bigger and bigger, and I started telling myself, you need to be in the history. And we always knew about all these big stars, like Pele, Mr. George Opongwea, Kalusha Boya. You know what, they have JJ Okocha, Samuel Eto'o. So I just want to put my name in there. I just want to be part of the history of Africa. Because it's good to be a good footballer, but even being a history maker is even better. So I just told myself, Adebayor, you get the talent, no Togolese, no one has done it. Why not you doing it for your own country? You got the quality, you got the talent, you're playing for the right club. You just focus on your team and do it for your country. And at the end of the day, I managed to win the African Player of the Year 2008, BBC Player of the Year. I won a lot of individual trophies, so which I'm very pleased about. But I think now I just got a target, which is win more things with my own club, which I'm going to be playing for. I will not say England. I will say simply in Europe is easy because you have to learn, right? Because when I was in Africa, I don't know all this kind of, don't get me wrong, you got the right education in Africa. But to make that better, to have all this vision of the way you talk to people, the way you make an interview, your everyday life, your quotidian everyday life, you have to travel. And I think that's why it's very important for all African footballers to find a way to travel. I'm not saying all those who are under 15 or under 14 to travel. We all knew the story of them having a difficulty, them being abandoned by people who doesn't have the right frame of mind. You know what I mean? So for me, I think it's very important for people, especially African players, to travel abroad to make their names. After that, we don't have to forget our roots. And don't get me wrong, some players have done so. But I'm quite happy because a lot of players always giving back. When I say a lot, we are a lot. Michael Essien have done charity game last year. Adebayor has been doing it for the last 3 years. Samuel Eto'o, he doesn't need to go on TV for people to know that he's doing charity stuff. So for me, those are the things that make me happy every day. Whenever I wake up and I know my brothers, my friends, footballers are doing stuff to help our continent to grow up, there is nothing better than that. French is quite tactically. It's quite similar to Italy, where I never played in Italy, but I play against the team. I play against Milan, Juventus, Astro. In France, when I was playing in France, everything is about tactic. You have to find a way. You stay there, don't move. After 30 minutes, go there, do this, do that. Don't consider a goal. If you can manage to score one, let's just keep it 1-0. It's quite similar to the one they do in Italy. But when you go to Spain, it's an open game, which is amazing for football, for the fans, for the supporters, for the telespectators to watch. Because it's been what is funny is sometimes I have a chance to play for Madrid. We're playing home in Santiago Bernabeu, and sometimes we have a chance to be leading 4-0. We got 5 or 20. Let's make it simple. We got 5 more minutes to go. We got an important game coming on Tuesday. So sometimes you just decide to keep the ball, and the fans will start cruising because they're not happy because they wanted to score more. That's the funny part of Spain League. They want the game to finish 4-2, 4-3, or 9-2 than finishing 4-0. They just want they just want people to be scoring goals. That's what they enjoy more. Now, when you come to England, it's a different story. England is everything together. People are tough. People are greedy. People are funny. You get everything in the league, in the Premiership. Like Don't get me wrong. The fans are crazy in a good way. Which means you will see some fans, we're playing at 3 o'clock, 9 o'clock, they're already drunk. So you can imagine somebody coming to stadium at 2, being already drunk, we're playing at 2 or 3 in the afternoon. So you can imagine. So when they are drunk like that, they just make the football look funny. And I think these are the things that make English football and the fans, I think the fans live for the game. It's their soul. They want to die for the game. And those things make it special in England. And don't get me wrong, and the way they talk about their league, the way they talk about, the advertise around it is quite big, and that makes it very good. Oh, when I was playing in France, a lot of people that knew me well always keep telling me that you are made to play in the Premiership because Premiership is fast, it's quick, you are tall, you are good with your head, and so and so. So I was like, okay, why not? One day, maybe it will happen, maybe not. But I'm just happy playing in France. And end of 2006, that's the funny part of. Sorry, that was the funny part of. That's the funny part of it because from July, August to December, I managed to score only 1 goal as a striker. And if I have a good memory, I played like 17 games, and I went to holiday because in France we have a break in December. So I came back home. I was playing with friends, and I got a phone call, and the man, one of my friends, picked up the phone, and he's like, "Man, somebody's calling. The person's name is a coach." Like, who is a coach? I don't know. No one is whose name is a coach. If the person says you need to talk to you urgently, I said, "Tell the person that I'm playing. I can talk when I'm playing." Tell the person to call back in 15 minutes. And I was still playing. 15 minutes, the person would call again. I was still playing. The person my guy told me that the person is insisting to talk to me. I was like, okay, let me try and find out who is that manager. And I pick up the phone because I recognized the voice because he was quite big in the world of football. Don't get me wrong, which is Arsene Wenger. And he's like, hey, how you doing? I said, I'm cool. And he's like, yo, yeah, listen, I'm calling you because I know your record. Don't get me wrong, he's scoring 1 goal in 6 months. Which is in 5-6 months, which is not good. But I'm really interested in bringing you to Arsenal. I was like, listen, manager, no matter what you want, if you send the ticket right now, I will be there tomorrow first thing in the morning. And he's like, okay, let me find a solution with Monaco because I was still playing for Monaco. So I think he called the president, the director, and they find a deal and everything. And I jumped in the plane, went to Arsenal, sorry, London, signed my contract. Came back and went to the African Cup of Nations in Egypt, which was in 2006. Oh, international career begins when I went to France. I was quite lucky. I was playing on the beach, and when I was selected to play for my national team under 15, and I have a chance to go to. We have a chance to win to a tournament in Burkina Faso, 6-country tournament. Togo, Mali, Niger, Burkina, Senegal, and if I have a good memory, I don't know, Ivory Coast or something like that. And actually, we finished last in the tournament, but I managed to get the best player of the tournament, and I went to France, and then straight away I went to France in 1999, and in 2000 I was already representing my country. I had my first call to represent my country in 2000, so for me I was very grateful, and coming back home playing for. Representing your own country as a professional footballer, there's nothing better than that. So I was quite happy, and I'm very happy playing for my own country because I have a chance to achieve a lot of stuff. They are not great ones, but to be honest with you, I'm very happy. We understand that the football is for the whole country, and we have to put effort inside. I'm not here talking about financial effort. I'm talking about organization effort. Get everything right, reserve the hotel at the right time. Get the plane on the right time. We boarding on the right time, landing on the right time. Because sometimes we went to the airport to travel at 2. We end up traveling at 9 p.m. Which means like you stay at the airport for 7 hours without doing anything. Those things always make life difficult for players. No one will tell me, there is no one African footballer will tell me that I was born rich. Not Samuel Eto'o, not Didier Drogba, not Michael Essien, not Salomon Kalou, No one will turn me down. So we know, I know everybody in the African football community. So our aims is to go out there and do our job, and I think that's what we're doing. Sometimes you just have to say, okay, I knew, don't get me wrong. If an European guy came now and asked me for a job in my house, it would be difficult for me to decide to give it to him if I had my own brother. Don't get me wrong, let us be honest. That's how life it is. If you got your brother or your father who's a minister and somebody else come, it will be difficult to give it to somebody else. You will always give it to the cousin, to the son of the brother, to the doctor of whoever. That's how it goes. So don't get me wrong, when it's happening to us in Europe, we just have to understand that instead of doing 100%, you have to go 200%. I remember one thing that one Guinean player told me when I went to Metz, is Adebayor, listen, you want to be a footballer. To play in this team, you see all the strikers are from France. They are from Metz, where you came from Togo. So you can imagine how many kilometers separate you and this country, and how many kilometers separate their house and the football academy, which is like 5 kilometers, and I'm from Africa. So you can imagine, and he told me, listen, to play, you just have to give everything. Play as if it's your last game. Enjoy every training as if it's going to be your last training. If they ask for 100%, manage, find a way to give 150%. If they're doing a test where we have to run, because in Europe there is all kind of these Copa tests, we have to run around the pitch. If you have to do 10, if everyone stop on 10, do me a favor. If you can do 12, 13, 14, do it to a point where your heart starts beating as it's going to stop. And that's what I listen to, and that's what we all do. Don't get me wrong. You say we all saw what happened in Chelsea this year. We also saw what happened to a lot of African footballers. You are just there, and they just brought somebody, and they just come and sit on the bench for no reason. That's life. But I think we are strong enough because of our youth. We have been. That's why I was quite happy for Drogba. What happened? I was on the phone with him every day. There's a point where he wanted to give up, and we all told him, listen, bro, you are from Africa. Don't forget your roots. Whether Chelsea or whoever believe in you or not, you have to know something. Your country, your continent, people still believe in you. People know what you can do and what you cannot do. Don't give up. And he said, you are right. At the end of the day, he came back as a winner. All African, those people who love Drogba were quite happy for him. And that's how it is. That's how we have to think of being a professional footballer.